Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs, and it's time to talk about the Blues and really dig into this playoff push and the games in hand and how much that really matters. Before we start, I need you guys to help us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Spotify. All right, so you're sitting here, and I'm filming this Monday afternoon, Blues with 10 games left. All right, 81 points in the second wild card spot, 4 points clear of Calgary, and then one more back to Vancouver, another one back to Utah. And that's really the extent of the competition, I'd say, for that second wild card spot. Minnesota has the first wild card spot at 85 points, 4 points ahead of the Blues. All these teams have games in hand against the Blues, and we've heard this. Uh, for people who live under a rock, most of you probably understand games in hand. If you don't, essentially the Blues have played more games, so the other teams have games in hand, more games with which to work and gain points. So the Blues have 81 points, but they've played more of their schedule. This has been kind of a consistent refrain, and it always is, but it's changed in terms of how much it matters for the Blues. Going back to the Four Nations face-off, 12, 2, and 2. Since that event, which I really hope is a regular occurrence because it was awesome, the Blues are the best team in hockey since then. Okay. It's as simple as that. Now, you have this whole thing, games in hand, and the Blues, remember, at that point, they were playing a little bit better, but nothing special, and they were still close to 10 points out of a wild card spot. It was still at a point where you're looking at like, yeah, it's not impossible. I don't think it's going to happen though. Someone's going to really go crazy, and well, that's kind of what's going on. You know, when you just keep winning, it doesn't matter how many games someone might have in hand. I guess that's the short way to say it. The Blues have consistently had been giving up games in hand. They've played more of their schedule. It feels like it's been that way for a while. So there was a time when, in specific to the wild card standings, one and two being your two wild card teams, the Blues were, I don't know, fifth. And well, they're fifth, and they're only 6 points out. But Vancouver and Utah and whoever else, they got two games in hand, and oh man, and then they keep winning a couple more. Well, the Blues are second team out, only 4 points out, but Vancouver's got a game in hand. Oh man, okay. Well, here you are, and all right, the Blues have played 72 games. Minnesota's played 70. Calgary at 69, Vancouver and Utah at 70. So everybody's got games in hand. At what point does it not matter? You know, the Blues with 10 games to go are, I'll call it 12, I guess, for Utah and for Vancouver. Well, you're 6 points clear of Utah, and they've got 12 games to play. You are 5 points clear of Vancouver. They've got 12 games to play. You're still 4 points clear of Calgary. And yeah, they got three games in hand on the Blues. That's not insignificant, but if the Blues keep winning, there's nothing Calgary can do about it. They have to catch St. Louis. So while they have the games to do it, if the Blues keep winning, it doesn't matter if Calgary wins. The Blues have more points, right? So, yes, this assumes that Calgary does not get on a heater like the Blues are on. I understand mathematically if the Flames win out and they can catch the Blues. All right, I understand that. But understand my point that the longer the Blues are on this heater, the less games in hand matters. And the more you just look at the fact that the Blues are playing as well as anybody in the NHL. And looking at the standings, maybe a first round showdown with the Winnipeg Jets is coming up as soon as next month. And the playoff push that no one expected 3 weeks ago, even. So it's fun. That's really what it is. You look at the schedule for the Blues. Gosh, guys, with 10 games left for St. Louis, it's not a murderer's row. It is not. It's not, the dregs of the NHL. Got to play Colorado twice. All right. Montreal, pretty good. They are in the counterpart for the Blues, second wild card team right now. So not elite, but not terrible. A big game to end of the season against Utah. Depending on what they do, that game might matter. Yeah, Edmonton in there. But okay, you also have Nashville. You also have Detroit. You also have Seattle. That there are points to be had. Other than that, I'm looking at it right now on my laptop in front of me. You got one, two. It's pretty evenly split. What was that 5-5 for home and the road? There's not really much. No more back-to-backs. So that's handy. So I think you'll see on some Wednesday or Friday, really, you'll see someone all of a sudden get closer in terms of games in hand as they have games. This could be a good thing for the Blues. As they have played more, well, everyone has to catch up, so they're going to play more games. The Blues, especially against someone like a Calgary with 3 games in hand, when you're talking 10 and 13 games to go, the Blues are going to be a little bit more rested, a little fresher. And hey, you take any little edge you can get. Let's go back to the standings. I'm just curious. I'm just going off the top of my head. Okay, Winnipeg, potential first round matchup. Most points in the Western Conference. That's how I'm getting there, assuming the Blues be the second wild card. They've played 71. So I don't consider that enough to really matter in terms of games played. Hey, keep winning, see what happens. Maybe Colorado can fall off a cliff. Blues played the Avalanche twice in these final 10 games, and 8 points is a lot to make up in 10 games, but playing them twice helps. You win those 2 games, that's half the margin right there. So finding a way to pass Minnesota, 4 points, doable, and even get up into that third spot. Again, not expecting it at all, because that is asking a lot. Even if you're winning, that's a lot to make up. Well, we're talking about, hey, are the Blues gonna have to settle for the second wild card spot, or can they move up? We're talking about that. Think about where we were in November, December. We were talking about, okay, Jim Montgomery's here. How quickly can they rebuild this thing? And now you're talking about a playoff run, and there's no team, and Winnipeg included, where you say, no, Blues can't win. There's no team out there. You respect it, and understand it's going to be an uphill battle, but the Blues right now can hang with anybody, and they're winning so much that, yeah, they can take on anybody in the playoffs and have a fighting chance. And I feel good about their chances to get there because they are winning so much right now that these games in hand just are not going to matter if they keep the pace up. So, we'll talk more. We'll see what happens with the Blues here. I'm trying to get more of these videos out now that the shoulder is trying to get on the mend here. Uh, we'll keep you covered with the playoff push, Cardinal baseball, and the Battlehawks. So keep you tuned here to Under the Arch Sports. Thanks for watching.